So the Atlanta Dream took a strong preseason win over the Chicago Sky, but the Chicago Sky have a lot to be proud of. We got a welcome to the league moment from Sydney Taylor. It was more of an introduction. Hello, I am Sydney Taylor moment because she went off 23 points. I think she's a player that has earned a roster spot at this point. I'm thankful to not have seen any thank yous from the Chicago Sky because they have a lot to think about. When you look at this preseason game, you have a better understanding at the draft picks. You look at Sky's roster, have Skylar Diggins, Rakia Jackson, Dejanay Carrington, have JC Sheldon, HVL. Some of it is harder to maneuver when you're thinking about the business side of it, because honestly, I would want to keep HVL over JC Sheldon, but JC Sheldon's contract has her protected because of her fourth year option, if I'm understanding correctly. And then you can see that they want to be an offense that works the perimeter, whether you're spotting up the shoot or taking them off the dribble. What would you do with Flage when you already have a Rakia Jackson, when you already have a Dejanay? What would you do with Raven Johnson when you already have Courtney Vandersloot, HVL, and JC Sheldon? And two of those guards that I mentioned are ones that are still trying to get their footing in the WNBA, and Courtney Vandersloot is going to be nursing back from an injury. So getting a Gabriella Hawkes who has some height, that can spot up around the perimeter, that knows how to work an offense, that is used to not being that number one option, it fits the flow. It makes sense to get a Tony Morgan because you want a guard that can facilitate the offense and take someone off the dribble. I honestly think that Tony Morgan might have a higher ceiling than HVL. What stands out to me is Kamilla Cardoso in all of this. They're setting a lot of screens, and she's having to start either near the horn or on the perimeter. I don't see the improvement in her footwork in this preseason game. So if this is any indication of the baseline of where we're working from, then I think that it's going to be difficult for her to be successful in this system. Coach Staley talked about she is a player that needs to be in the driver's seat all the time. She needs the keys. I don't know if you give Kamilla Cardoso the keys at this point. There is just a large gap of development, and in this type of system where she's going to have to work off the perimeter, where she's going to have to be quick out of the screening role, is going to be challenging. So I'm interested to see what they do. I honestly would not be surprised if they wanted to offer up a trade. When I look at the type of offense that they're running, the type of big they want is probably a Dominique Malonga, someone who can space the floor, someone who has some size, that has a little more touch around the rim. But where do you pull a Dominique Malonga out of your hat? I wouldn't be surprised if we see Kamilla Cardoso change teams. I think it would be beneficial for both sides. Now, when I look at the Atlanta Dream, I don't feel as confident as I felt from the initial announcement that Angel Reese is moving to the Atlanta. I felt like I wasn't seeing the fuller picture because I didn't realize that Breonna Jones would be coming back off of a meniscus tear, which I believe happened in February. I know that that injury takes some time to rehab. That's several months. So when we look at it, it's just going to be Angel Reese and Nas Hillman, which Angel Reese is reportedly 6'4" now, so that gives her an extra inch. But I don't think it solves the big conundrum that Atlanta had. I felt like last season they didn't have a lot of alleviation for Ron Howard and Allisha Gray. They had to be big time scorers every game in order for Atlanta to be successful. Although there were other players that had standout type of nights, I think that it's going to work better when they have bigs that can produce. Breonna Jones is a hard hit to take for the majority of the season. That's what I'm assuming. And then you have Angel Reese, who's still working on some of the little things, her touch around the rim. Just in this preseason game, I didn't see improvement on where she's releasing from on that layup, which is going to cause issues. The bright spot for her is that she's a decent free throw shooter. She's about a 75% free throw shooter. Because she's shooting so low, the defender's trying to go through her body and they foul her a lot of the times, and she's able to convert 75% of the time. So that is a strong point for Reese. And then what she gives you defensively and what she gives you on the board is also really strong, which is going to make her impactful to Atlanta, but it doesn't solve the issue of they need another consistent scorer. And Nas Hillman wasn't able to play in this one. So we won't see what the Nas Hillman Angel Reese connection looks like right now. I didn't love the connection between her and Sika Kone at this point, but it's very young in the season. When we're talking about Atlanta's guards, though, I do see a bright future. I liked Tahina Pow doing more facilitating. She had 13 points and 4 assists. Jordan Canada didn't produce offensively in the point on the point side, which is always up in the air when it comes to Jordan Canada. Like some nights she'll be prolific in scoring. Then other nights she's more so focused on the facilitation. It would help if she was a bit more consistent, but she's also a big component to the offense and the ball moving. So that's a high point for them. And then Isabel Boles, 13 points and 3 assists. So another player that can give them some good ball movement. I still haven't seen Taylor Theory be impactful or make herself a factor. And I'm waiting for that moment because she's a player who I anticipated coming into the league and being a spot up shooter. That's what she was known for in Ohio State was her 3-point shot. And we haven't seen the confidence from her. Like sometimes she's getting the looks, but she's not taking the shot. So I want to see more confidence in Taylor Theory. So with Atlanta saying their thank yous to Sasha Washington, Bella Font-Leroy, and Layla Filia, that gives Taylor Theory some confidence that she's staying on the roster. They see something, but I want to see it translate in the game because I just haven't seen it yet. I thought that India and Navarre looked good. I thought that Atlanta has some space to their offense to work in. Now it's about converting on the shot. And sometimes you're just not going to get that high conversion rate in a preseason game. Everyone's getting their legs underneath them and finding their flow. We'll see. I don't know right now if Atlanta is going to be contenders until they solve the conundrum of their post production. Right now, with this lineup, I don't know how much the posts are going to be able to help alleviate some of that pressure from Ron Howard and Allisha Gray. But what are your thoughts, Hoops Tribe? How do you feel about Chicago? How do you feel about Atlanta after this preseason game? Let's talk hoops.